a future Red Hawk and now a current one. And he gets a high snap to start the game, and he will just pull it down and get hit hard for a loss of 2.
Yeah, one of the things that you find out quickly about Brett Gabbert, and we got a chance to visit with him this week, was you turn the film on and he's just calm and cool and collected. He plays with a lot of confidence. The guys around him, the older guys, or juniors and seniors, really believe in his leadership.
Said he found out he won the job the Friday before their opening game against Iowa 2 weeks ago. Played about a half last week in an easy win over Tennessee Tech. On the flip here, Maurice Thomas picks up 3. Elijah Ponder with a stop and a 3rd and 9 coming up.
Oh, what an excellent play by Elijah Ponder, because if he doesn't make that tackle, it's going to be off to the races and at least a first down. But you really don't see defensive linemen track down backs or receivers in that case when you talk about Maurice Thomas.
On 3rd down, Gabbert under pressure will elude it at first and then be taken down by Perry Young, the senior captain off an ACL injury last year, and the American Conference's best defense in 2018 forces a 3-and-out.
Yeah, again, you see the speed of Cincinnati's defense. 2 plays, one with Thomas that looked like it was going to be a first down, looked like Gabbert was going to be able to run for a first down. The speed on the back end for Marcus Freeman, their defensive coordinator, shining through here early.
Ryan Montgomery back to receive the kick from Kyle Kramer. It's a returnable one. Montgomery from his own 33-yard line will pick up 7 after a kick of 41. Terrific field position to start for Cincinnati. And the Bearcats led by their redshirt sophomore quarterback Desmond Ridder. Last year, Andre, he really burst onto the national scene out of nowhere, was the conference rookie of the year. A redshirt sophomore in Louisville, Kentucky leads his team.
Yeah, super athletic, has really stepped up as a leader in just his sophomore year. And guys around, they play for him. I mean, he is a terrific athlete and has really gotten better in throwing the football.
Coaches told us he trains with the offensive lineman. That'll win you some points. And his offensive line, a bit of a breakdown to start. Andrew Sharp gets in there for the sack, the redshirt sophomore with his 3rd career sack and a loss of 3.
Yeah, he's got to thank Bart Baratti, though, because he comes on a blitz from the outside the right tackle. That forces Ridder to step up in the pocket and right into the arms of the sack.
Bearcats are 1-1. They were shut out at Ohio State last week. They couldn't get Michael Warren going, and a couple of flags are thrown on the loss of a yard for Warren. Here from our referee Kurt Johnson for the first time today.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty in the previous spot, 2nd down.
That's surprising. That's Chris Ferguson, the team's best offensive lineman, best pass protector, moved him over to left tackle this week. He's a starter was the start of the season at right tackle, but right in the middle of the offensive formation, Michael Warren trying to find some room, and Chris Ferguson just gets a little bit too much jersey.
Not sure why he was surprised. That was a suplex takedown right there from Big Fergie. So 2nd and 23 for Ridder. He'll throw it for the first time, and it is intercepted. No, it's incomplete. Cedric Raymond could not bring it in.
Boy, and I tell you, just a bad read on the part of Desmond Ridder. Tried to force a post route in there in the corner. Cedric Raymond falls off. The safety was there also.
Certainly hit the ground, could not hang on. The senior transfer from Independence Community College. Last chance you kid, Cedric Raymond. On 3rd and a mile, Miami rushes only 3. And still gets some pressure on Ridder. who throws it on the run just out of the reach of Josiah DeGuara for what would have been a first down.
A nice job with just rushing 3 by Miami. And we got another flag, but they get the pressure with just rushing 3. And you're talking about a remade offensive line. You've switched tackles. Kevin Ferguson, as I mentioned earlier, moving over.
Downfield, offense, number 74. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
And another penalty on the left side of the line. Jeremy Cooper, the left guard.
Yeah, but just to finish up top, put a bow on that. But Ferguson's moving to left tackle. You got Lawrence Metz moving over to the right side. So it's a tough. You think you'd be able to do that with ease? It's a tough thing to do, having to block from one side to the other.
They really struggled blocking against Ohio State last week. Warren had just 15 yards on 10 carries. The Australian punter James Smith, one of the best in the country, gets it away. Jalen Walker on the return, and Miami of Ohio will have terrific field position after a return of 11. Red Hawks ball at their own 40 when we return to Cincinnati.
ESPN celebrating 150 years of college football.
Watching the American Conference on ESPN. Lou Fickell, the third-year head coach for the Cincinnati Bearcats, one of the great coaching jobs in the country last year. And Chuck Martin, who's done quite a job building this program in 6 years at Miami, Ohio, took over an 0-12 program, and his team bowl eligible 2 out of the last 3 years. They were 6-2 in the MAC last season, 16-8 in MAC play over the last 3 years. Hoping this is the year they finally break through for a winning overall record in another bowl game bid. This is Davion Johnson on first down, the redshirt sophomore from Pontiac, Michigan. Miami, Ohio is without its starting running back Jalen Bester, who's missed the last 2 weeks after an injury against Iowa.
Really enjoyed talking to those 2 head coaches this week. Chuck Martin, we got a chance to visit with him earlier in the week, and then yesterday Luke Fickell. It's just a lot of toughness from both guys. You can see the passion. Talking to Luke Fickell, it's all about building the program and affecting young men's lives.
On second down, Maurice Thomas takes it, and Thomas sweeps across the 50 for a first down, Miami.
Well, he is like a Swiss Army knife. He'll line up at running back. They'll split him out at wide receiver. Love to use him in a lot of ways. He's a deep threat down the field. Got to be careful with him when he comes in the game after leaving it. He comes in as a wide receiver. They like to throw the football to him on a deep route. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Out of the game right now, Tyree Shelton in the backfield. Gabbert to throw, looking Jack Sorensen's way, and he completes it. That's Miami's best receiver, Sorensen. He was in a knee brace last week. We weren't sure if he was going to play, and this is an awfully big lift.
Yeah, that's why there's so much confidence around this program, and Brett Gabbert throws like that one.
On first down, Shelton, and Tyree Shelton threw a crease for a pickup of 4.
Got an injured player down for Cincinnati, Jarrell White, who is their do-it-all on the back end type player, linebacker they used to blitz, but there's a strike, and that's cover 2 with a corner falling off. You got to throw that one almost like an out route, where it flattens the receiver off before he gets to the safety. And I'll tell you what, he did a nice job of just squeezing that one in.
A couple of first downs on this drive for Miami, starting to move the ball. We'll step aside with the injury to Jarrell White for Cincinnati.
State Saturday Kickoff is presented by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And in part by Philadelphia Cream Cheese. It must be the Philly.
Part of Under Armour's celebration of college football's 150th anniversary, Cincinnati wears throwback uniforms today, inspired by teams from the 1950s and 60s with the authentic number font, minimalistic design. The field is a throwback field as well. No logo at midfield. The end zone's just diagonal white lines.
No names on the back of the jerseys, no Nothing on Cincinnati's helmets. That's about as throwback as you can get. And you know what? I like them.
Kind of fits the profile of this team too, doesn't it?
It does. It's all about the team. No individual in the statement uniform-wise today.
Second down for Miami. And a give to Davion Johnson. Hard running for the Red Hawk sophomore. He's right near the line to gain.
Yeah, he's a solid back that runs with good power. Gets those shoulder pads pointed north and south and really challenges a defensive front seven. He gets momentum. He's going to fall forward for a couple of yards.
Third and a couple of inches here. And Gabbert will give it to Johnson again. Didn't need much, and he got it. A first down, Miami.
Tempers already kind of going off a little bit on one another. Mixing it up in the middle. Let's go to our impact players. Tommy Doyle, their best offensive lineman. Jack Sorensen already caught a pass. He's their best receiver. And then Brian Wright, the leader of Cincinnati's defense, along with Kobe Bryant, a dynamic playmaker on the back end at corner for Cincinnati.
Gabbert on first down, looking long, single coverage there, and he overthrows the tight end Andrew Homer with a flag thrown at the 5.
Darian Beavers got a little jersey at the end of that one. It's going to be a hold on the back end. And Gabbert saw it. I'm about to come out of the press box, seeing it come open, and he saw it like I did. Instincts, man. They never leave you. You see a guy running wide open, you got to get the ball. I don't even have a ball up here.
Well, when you've got a 6'6" athletic tight end against a linebacker, right? You notice that.
I never had a 6'6" tight end, but I know when they come open, you gotta get them the ball. Just a little bit of tug at the end of some jersey, and that moves Miami University down here just outside the 10-yard line.
Miami's been perfect in the red zone this year, 9 for 9, 51 out of its last 52 in red zone scores, and they'll start with a handoff. Johnson lunges forward. That's Tyree Shelton, beg your pardon, to the 5-yard line. Kobe Bryant on the stop.
They don't just get down here and score. They are pretty consistent in punching it in and getting it in the end zone.
7 touchdowns, 9 tries this season. Another bruising run for Shelton. Miami can get a first down here at the 1. This is not yet a goal-to-go situation.
Well, Shelton came in actually leading the team in rushing yards with 69, and he's the guy here.
Third straight play to Shelton, up the gut. He is apparently not in.
Just shy.
But I think he's got enough for the first down. He needed the 1 for the first down, and it will be first and goal coming up.
And if I'm Chuck Martin, I'm going to turn around and hand it to 20 again.
5'11", 191, the redshirt freshman. Had a great fall camp.
Got to make sure you handle the football here.
10th play of the drive. It's Shelton trying to get over the top. He does. Touchdown, Miami.
Excellent start to this football game, and a nice mix in terms of play calling. George Barnett is the play caller. Eric Kohler is also a co-offensive coordinator, but they did a nice job of mixing things up with a couple of passes from Gabbert, and then the rest was done on the ground by Davion Johnson and Sheldon to finish it off.
And the extra point drilled through from Sam Sloman, the first career touchdown for the redshirt freshman Tyree Shelton. He got the last 4 carries on the drive. And the Red Hawks, losers of 13 in a row in this rivalry, draw first blood. Tonight at the Carrier Dome, Dabo Swinney, #1 Clemson, take on Dino Babers' Syracuse Orange. You know about the last 2 years. Cuse beating #1 Clemson in the Dome 2 years ago, nearly upsetting the Tigers last year. 7:30 Eastern tonight on ABC and the ESPN app. Does Syracuse have a chance?
No. They may be there for a minute, but they got to get that offense going. It's unlike Dino Babers and his offenses to kind of stall the way they have entering 2019.
Got to get the offense going. Got to get the defense going too after Mike Loxley's Terps on 63. There's a stumble out across the 20 for freshman Trey Tucker.
I tell you what, Tucker had a hole. If he's able to keep his footing, then he may have turned that into a nice return for Cincinnati.
So you look at Luke Fickell, longtime assistant at Ohio State. Didn't love the idea of returning to play at Ohio State last week, but the game had been scheduled. And Cincinnati, after hanging with the Buckeyes for a quarter, ended up getting blasted 42-0 to what we think is one of the best teams in the country. The question now, how do the Bearcats respond?
Yeah, is there any carryover from last week? Or will they panic?
Because John Warren is tripped up.
Yeah, because of what happened at Ohio State. And they, seem to have shot themselves in the foot a little bit here early. A couple of penalties on really both sides of the football, offensively and defensively, that helped to lead to the Miami 6 points, or now 7 points with the extra point.
Week 1 defensively terrific against UCLA, just 218 yards allowed, but then shut out for the first time in 170 games last week at the Shoe. Ritter on 2nd and 11. Miami's getting all sorts of pressure on him today. He's sacked for the second time, a loss of 6, and it was Sharp who had the first sack with pressure again.
You got quick pressure from the outside and right into the hands of Sharp. Some outside pressure, and I'll tell you what, excellent coverage on the back end. Really nowhere to go with a football for Ritter. They're getting pressure with just 3 and 4. That makes for a long afternoon as a quarterback.
Experienced defensive line for Miami, which has matched its season total in sacks. 3rd and 16, Ritter just throws it away. What a show this is early on defensively for Miami, Ohio. Cincinnati -9 yards in the first 2 drives.
Well, just tough. Right now, just being manhandled in the trenches up front. And I wonder if it has a lot to do with moving those 2 tackles. Switching the right tackle, Ferguson, to left tackle. Metz going to right tackle. They're really not, they're being handled up front, and it's coming right off the edges.
Smith has to get off a good one here. From his own 41, Maurice Thomas. Good coverage by Cincinnati. 42 on the kick, a return of just 2.
You know how much courage that takes? 2 guys barreling down on you and handling a punt?
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't either.
Time is back on Sunday nights, airing exclusively on ESPN Plus at 7:30 p.m. Eastern all season long.
Oh, how I've missed this show. 7:30 Eastern Sundays for the 100th anniversary of the NFL, the 40th anniversary of ESPN.
That gets me fired up right there. Knowing that DJ and Chris Berman are back. Are you kidding me? I'll be tuned into that every time it's on.
And they'll be talking about some Red Hawks from the cradle of coaches, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, of course Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers. Overthrow on first down. Andrew Homer had some space. There is a flag, though. It might be on the hit.
It's going to be a roughing the passer on Curtis Brooks, number 92. Came in just late. That's a big 15-yard penalty and better field position for Miami University.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 92, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's now 3 penalties for 40 yards.
And it's a couple of big ones mixed in there. And he's just going to come in late on the quarterback. The ball's clearly gone. And then a big-time late hit on Brett Gabbert. Now you're operating in plus yardage territory here, and everything is on the table for Miami's offense.
And a teaching moment right there for Brooks. On first down, a give Maurice Thomas through the middle. Spun down after a couple by Derek Forrest, the junior safety.
Nice job of running between the tackles. He's only 179 pounds, Thomas, but they use him, as we mentioned, in a lot of ways. At wide out, they'll obviously just lined him up at running back. The more you can do. Had a career high 4 receptions last year against Cincinnati for 69 yards.
This is Shelton with a touchdown last time, running right through the center of the field. Another tackle by Forrest, but this one after a gain of 10 and a first down.
Well, he does a nice job of putting his right foot in the ground and getting right up the field, north and south, with some power on the end of it. I like it. Don't hesitate. Don't mess around. They may throw him a little quick screen here.
Yeah, he's behind 3 receivers. That's exactly what they do. Good blocking. A bulldozer lower the head late in a gain of 8 for Shelton on first down.
This surprise you? That Miami is controlling the game in this manner, in the trenches, and then physically at the end of this run, Sheldon's going to lower his shoulder and give it to a safety.
That's what Chuck Martin said they want to be, though. He said we want to be the Stanford of the MAC, the Iowa of the MAC.
Yeah, just tough, hard-nosed football team, and they've started this game in that manner.
They went toe-to-toe with Iowa, trailed just 10-7 at the half in their first game of the year. Here's a pitch to Johnson. There's a flag down.
Maybe a little false start action here.
Offense, number 80, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Quentin Hardy, the backup tight end.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you can't hold them too long. You got a bit, even the offensive line, they get used to a rhythm. They're firing off the ball. You're having some progress and seeing some things happen. They're ready to go play. You can't slow them down in a manner where they're sitting in a stance. And I understand the jump there by the tight end.
Second down and 8. Gabbert will keep it. Dominique Robinson out front as a blocker.
Well, I tell you what, he's thrown a couple of good blocks on the edges. One for Sheldon, and then he comes back, and that one for his quarterback Gabbert. That was run all the way. Show it, but he was going to carry the football now. Here, a nice short yardage situation.
Gabbert will turn and hand it off on third down, and Johnson has stood up for a loss.
Well, that may be one where Chuck Martin thought about, if we get close to the first down marker, we may go for it on fourth down, depending on the field position or where the ball was going to be placed. But with a negative carry here, now you're going to take the points. And he is comfortable with him. This kid has a big leg, comfortable from 50 and just inside of 60 yards.
Sam Sloman, career 25 out of 34, and from 41 yards away, he gives Miami a 10-0 lead.
Sloman, they feel like he may kick on Sundays. That strong of a leg.
If he goes to the pros, you think he still has to wear 79?
Yeah, I just, you know, you kind of at the bottom of the barrel when you're a kicker, and you know, they'll kick in anything just to get on the field, but you got to believe there's a number change coming in his future.
124th meeting between Miami, Ohio and Cincinnati. When you have a rivalry that's this old, that's this frequently played, it helps to be this close. Just down the road here in Southern Ohio from Oxford to Cincinnati. It's about a 45-minute drive or so. These two teams play generally every other year at home, though. Last year they were at Paul Brown Stadium down the road here in Cincinnati, the home of the Bengals. I'll throw that into the mix every once in a while. Asked Chuck Martin about this game and this rivalry. He said this is probably the biggest game of the year for every fan, every alum we have. He said there are a lot of split households in Ohio, folks who got their undergraduate degree at one school and their graduate degree at another.
It's amazing the connections that the two schools have. You see the series there, 57. Miami University leads it 57 wins to 59, 57, and 7.
And that first meeting was the first ever college football tie.
Yep.
0-0 slugfest. That will not be equal today. Trey Tucker once again. And pretty good coverage by Miami. Tucker can break it. He's only out to the 23. So Cincinnati in the first two drives, Andre, has gone backwards. -9 yards on 6 plays. What do the Bearcats need to change on this third drive?
Well, I think they need to allow, you're going to remake the offensive line and put Ferguson over at left tackle and Metz at right tackle. You got to allow them to fire off. Just come off the football and let them run block for one of the better backs in the American Conference, and that's Michael Warren. Get him going up the field and challenge this front.
A switch they made after last week's game. Warren just a carry for a loss of a yard so far. And this is the freshman Tucker. A little bit of creativity there. 9 yards on first down.
Just trying to find a spark any single way they can get it.
When we say Trey Tucker is fast, here's how fast. He's a 10-400 meter.
Beep beep speed.
He's a 4.3740.
He's got that beep beep speed, huh? Nice tough run by Thomas.
Tavion Thomas, the backup, with a first down, gain of 4.
Yeah, they rave about him. He's just got to learn the little intricacies about the position, protecting the quarterback and, you know, sorting things out when there's blitz. If you just give it to him and say, hey, run it off right tackle, he is one of the best in the business. Very talented player, is going to get better, but he just needs to continue to develop his overall game.
Ritter will pull it down on first down and slide. Late hit. That's going to be a flag.
And that may be a targeting, and could be an ejection here by Miles Reed. Because Ritter was clearly going down. He led with the helmet. He may take a look at this.
After the play, dead ball foul, late hit, personal foul. Defense, number 17, 15-yard penalty, includes first down.
Now, remember, replay can take a look at it and stop play and really get a thorough, and I'm going to say no to targeting there. Close because it was in the head and neck area, but he went over the top, and luckily he missed. Just missing.
No forcible contact to the head or neck area there. 15 yards all the same, and a gain of 3 for Tavion Thomas on first down.
That's the best drive that Cincinnati's been able to put together.
In Miami territory, and a second down strike. Ja'Shawn Jackson, the sophomore out of Chicago, right near the line to gain, and there's another flag out. Flag-filled first quarter.
Oh, it really has been. Cincinnati's starting to feel like, you just got to keep playing, because all the penalties were against Cincinnati to start the game, and now they're getting some back.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 21. The previous play is under review.
So a couple of plays after we thought there was a potential targeting, Sterling Weatherford of Miami is called for targeting. This play will have to be confirmed, and let's take a look.
He's coming in late at the end of this and lowers his head. Not a big hit, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a big hit when you make contact with your helmet, the crown, or your shoulder pads to the head or neck area of a player. And he may have just caught him in the shoulder pads and the helmet's bumped. I don't know if there's enough there to really disqualify him for targeting, because the receiver is actually lowering his head as well. Jackson.
Remember, targeting cannot stand this year. It has to be confirmed to disqualify a player.
I just don't see it there.
You need forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless opponent, or forcible contact against an opponent with the crown of the helmet.
Yeah.
Is it forcible?
I think the shoulder pads hit and the helmet's touch. And I'm just not sure that that's going to be confirmed. I think if I'm in the replay booth, I allow him to play on. There's the targeting rule.
Have to have an indicator of targeting, a launch, a crouch followed by an upward thrust, leading with a helmet, shoulder, forearm, fist, hand, or elbow, or what it would be here, lowering the head before a forcible contact. Do we have forcible contact?
After further review, there is no targeting on the play. Number 21 may remain in the game.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I think it's the absolute right call.
I wonder if that last year would stand, but now that we've tweaked the rule in college football where you have to confirm targeting, it's the right call.
I think so. I think it's the absolute right way, and it's a great rule change. Because to your point, last year I think he's out of the football game and missing next week's first half.
Sixth play of the drive, meanwhile, 1st and 10, and Ritter will check it down to Michael Warren, and the truck finally gets going. Warren with a gain of 9.
Got to find a way to get the truck headed down the freeway. And there, I thought he had him earlier as coverage was still dropping off, but he was able to still pick up Michael Warren, a very, very talented running back, one of the best in the country.
Over 1,300 rushing yards last year, 3rd most in Cincinnati history. Ritter will keep it here, and Ritter goes down after 3 yards and a first down. Weatherford in on the hit.
You see why it was so important for Miami University to keep Weatherford on the field. Talented on the back end as a safety and can come up and run support. Does a nice job there holding Ritter to basically no gain. Excuse me, anyway, he picked up the first down, I'm sorry.
Just a short gain, and now a connection to Jackson, his second catch. Inside 30 seconds here in the opening quarter on a gain of 8.
Kind of a lost start, throwing a hitch route. Just 6 yards and sit down. And that is a confidence builder for a quarterback that's struggling in the passing game, because that's the first route in the route tree. You go hitch, slant, out. You can throw those in your sleep. Should be able to get easy completions when those are called.
Last play of the quarter, it's Warren spinning away, and he's taken down by Weatherford to save what would have been a touchdown. Should be good enough for a first down, and Cincinnati will have it in the red zone when we return.
Talk about making good on a second chance is Sterling Weatherford. Miami University up 10-0.
You're watching the All-State Saturday kickoff. Miami, Ohio with a 10-0 lead. Cincinnati on the move and in the red zone for a 1st and 10 from the Miami 14. The Bearcats have been horrid in the red zone this year. Just 3 for 9. 0 for 3 last week, a couple of turnovers, and they go backwards here as Ritter's run out of bounds with a flag thrown.
And they're going to make it tougher on themselves with a hold and back it up here. Be 1st and 20. And maybe at the end of this run, which
Holding. Offense. Number 74. 10 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
Andre, that's Jeremy Cooper, the left guard, and this was Luke Fickell's biggest area of concern. The tackles, Metz and McConnell, and the left guard Cooper, the redshirt freshman, a first-year starter.
Well, it was Metz and Cooper. They were the question marks because it was the newer part of the offensive line from center to the right tackle. Robinson, James, and Ferguson. They knew they had experienced players over there, which is exactly why they moved Chris Ferguson to get some experience next to Cooper on the left side.
So now 1st and 20, and a handoff. Warren getting some of that chunk back. That's a gain of 9 yards.
Tell you what, Metz kind of did a heck of a job on the right side, collapsing that side of the line of scrimmage and opening up a big hole for Michael Warren. Just a nice seal block, and there is a huge hole in there. Lavelle, as well, the tight end, throwing a nice block.
2nd down and 11. Ritter gets rid of it quickly to Alec Pierce, who was their one bright spot in the loss to Ohio State last week. Emmanuel Rugamba with a stop after a gain of 7.
Yeah, he set out last year because of transfer rules, transferred in from Iowa. I'll tell you what, he did a heck of a job there because receiver Pierce almost escaped him and got into the end zone.
Ritter just 2 out of 10 on 3rd downs last week. 0 for 2 today. Where do you look here on 3rd and 5?
I'm going to Warren. Maybe something inside and then slip Warren out into the flat, but he could hand it off and maybe pick up the 1st down.
He will hand it off, and he will pick up the 1st down, and he will score. What a great answer for Cincinnati. An 8-yard touchdown run as the officials pull the bodies off the pile.
Yeah, because of the look that Miami University shows defensively, it's spelled run. They were thinking pass. It was easy to block up. They were actually outmanned in the box. You'll see it here. It's just a 4-1 front. 4 defensive linemen and a linebacker, and that is so inviting to an offensive line and an offensive coordinator, and especially a guy like Michael Warren.
24th touchdown of the Truck's career, 8 yards out. A 12-play drive to answer for Cincinnati. It's a 3-point game here in Nippert Stadium in the oldest non-conference rivalry in FBS. We knew it would be physical. Early returns are strong. Michael Warren bangs the drum after a 12-play drive for Cincinnati. The Bearcats are on the board for the first time since week 1 after an Ohio State shutout last Saturday. 10-7 game on Warren's 24th career touchdown.
Well, how about this? Look at this. The swinging of the arms. They all stop in unison. Now let's go hit somebody.
Maurice Thomas from the 1. Cincinnati tracking him down. Thomas is tripped up shy of the 15. Terrific coverage.
Excellent coverage.
And it was Jacob Dingle, the safety, the true freshman on the play.
I just love that. In unison, they're swinging their arms back and forth. As the kicker starts, they stop. And then if the ball's booted, and let's go hit somebody. Absolutely love it. I've never seen this before. Look at this. Let's swing the arm. Let's get ready, baby. We're all in unison here. The kicker starts up, and it stops. Love it.
On 1st down, a handoff, Shelton, and Cincinnati swarms him for a loss.
There has been a momentum shift in Nippert Stadium.
Tyson Fury wants a rematch with Deontay Wilder in a fight that might be about as physical as this game right now. We'll have to get past the big Swede Otto Wallin first. Tonight, Tyson defends the title on ESPN Plus, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific from T-Mobile. Go to ESPNplus.com/top rank to order.
Well, Wallin looks like Tim Tebow to me.
Gabbard completes it on the run. What a throw. What an answer. Jalen Walker hauls it in right at the 38, a gain of 25.
Well, that's an answer. A nice answer by the true freshman, Brett Gabbard. Just calmly sitting in there, hostile environment, rivalry game, and just throws an absolute dime.
Gabbard will pull it down and get back to the original line of scrimmage. We talked to Cincinnati's defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman yesterday. He loves what this freshman can do.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look at this throw. The throw on the move, and that is just, I mean, right on the money. You can't throw him any better than that. Just so impressed with this young man, Brett Gabbard, and his composure and his command of the entire offense.
First true freshman to start ever at quarterback for Miami, Ohio. They've been playing football since the 1880s.
Well, you see why. You get one like that in your program, not hard to see why Brett Gabbard has become the starter at Miami.
Danica Godlewski, the center, called for the penalty. What did Marcus Freeman tell us about Gabbard? He said, I see a little bit of Johnny Manziel, a little bit of Baker Mayfield in this freshman.
Because he moves around and can threaten the line of scrimmage, you got to stay true on the back end, but then the guys up front have to be able to play and run with him. And you got to spy him, because otherwise he's got enough athletic ability to make you pay.
Handoff on first down. Shelton bounces it out.
Oh, nice run.
They are tough up front, this Miami team.
Well, I mean, Sheldon is bringing it to your front door, and there is a Cincinnati defender who put his head in there and his body, and Sheldon made him feel it. And he's yet to get up.
That's Taj Ward, the third safety. You're looking at Marcus Freeman. They're already without Kyreek McDonald, Cincinnati, who collapsed and convulsed on the field last week at Ohio State. Kyreek's doing much better, but he's not cleared to play. So they've moved Taj Ward over from corner. Remember, this is the position, Andre, where James Wiggins, their best defensive player, was lost for the year with an ACL. So they are very, very thin at the back.
Lost him 2 days before the UCLA game, and had 3 game-winning interceptions last year. And as you mentioned, their best defensive player. They're cross-training Taj Ward to play corner and safety. Just really, really thin on the back end of Marcus Freeman's defense. And they like to play aggressive. They're going to come after you. They're going to challenge everything you do with the pressure, man-to-man type defense. And they want to put pressure on Brett Gabbard, the youngster, to try to force him into making mistakes. But watch this Sheldon Ward collision. Sheldon's tough to bring down. Runs with a nice low center of gravity.
Gabbard needs his own 48. Airs it out over the top. Complete to Dominique Robinson.
What a throw. What a throw by the young true freshman. The youngster is playing and feeling it. That one just a nice arcing throw with plenty of air under it, and it allowed Dominique Robinson to just run under it.
Longest pass play of the year for Miami for 42, and then a first down run for Shelton to follow it.
Well, they are getting a nice 1-2 punch from Shelton and Johnson, and then Gabbard leading them right back down the field in an answer type drive, a response type drive to Cincinnati's score.
To have a flag down all the way on the near sideline.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First out.
This is when I would go to the end zone, Kevin. Second down. and you're 2nd and short. So essentially, it's a free play. Actually, it's going to become 1st down.
And they accept the penalty, so 1st and 5, which makes it even better reason to go, right?
Now I'm definitely throwing into the end zone. Watch Maurice Thomas.
Gabbert is sacked. Ball came out, and it's picked up by Cincinnati. Punched out by Brian Wright. Jay Sanders on top, and there are 2 flags just now thrown well after the play.
Add unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to the end of this one, but I'll tell you what, they show up in a hurry to the point where Gabbert can't even attempt to make the defender miss. And Sanders is just a freak of nature defensively. Team's best pass rusher. He could play anywhere, and they think he is an NFL-type pass rusher. Still learning, still getting better, but just a sophomore at 6'5" and about 260 pounds. He's going to remind you a little bit of Josh Allen that played at Kentucky. First-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, that's high praise.
Got that kind of ability.
Another flag was just tossed down, just to get them all in the same space, I think. This is obviously well after the play. The officials are sorting out who will be assessed what we think will be unsportsmanlike conduct.
I wonder whose flag belongs to who. You know, do you have initials on your flag, or do you just go out there and just pick up one?
It's a great question.
Is one darker than the other?
The ruling on the field is a fumble with the recovery by the defense. After the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense. Number 52, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense. Number 21, those penalties was offset. 1st down. That is each player's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of this game.
Ball will be spotted at the point of recovery by Sanders and Cincinnati. They're just that quick. Brian Wright forces the fumble. Sanders picks it up, and Cincinnati changes the momentum of this football game.
Miami in the red zone. We showed you earlier they were 10 for 10, 8 touchdowns, 42 out of 43 last year. What an enormous stop this is for Cincinnati.
And I like taking a shot right here. Give me a speed receiver, and let's go up top after a big turnover.
Off the play fake, there's your shot. There's the 1st down completion. Alec Pierce.
And we got a hold. It's coming back.
All the way back at the 21. Going to wipe out a gain of 23.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 1st down.
That is the 2nd accepted penalty and 3rd penalty total in the game against the redshirt freshman left guard, Jeremy Cooper.
Yeah, you got things the way you want it. And Cooper's struggling a little bit. Number 74. Just kind of having one of those games. It's a tough matchup in front of him. And he's grabbing. It's an obvious hole, but nice pass by Ritter.
Got a piece of Doug Costin, probably the best defensive lineman for Miami, Ohio. Ritter with a keeper. And hit hard after maybe a yard.
Tell you what, nice job by Mike Brown, the safety, and keeping leverage. Didn't allow a block to get him out of position, and that forced Ritter to turn up the field where the convoy of help was on the way. And an interesting set up top, little diamond set.
Ritter again pressured, and down he goes. Just nowhere to run and nowhere to throw. Dean Lemon was in there along with Costin.
He's on the line of scrimmage right now. This defensive line, and there's 4 down linemen, and they are just winning at the point of attack. You see 4 down linemen, and they are just winning battles. Swimming up front. Vincent McConnell is now in the game. He can't handle the man in front of him. Everybody else flying free on Desmond Ritter.
3 sacks already. Ritter will take a shot. Almost had it out of the outstretched arms of Trent Cloud.
Just love the effort, but just out of the reach. Right there, just barely out of the reach of the intended receiver. Gonna force a punt, and Miami University going to have some decent field position here again to start this drive.
3rd 3 and out, 4 possessions forced by the Redhawks. Smith from out of his own end zone barely got it off. This will be Walker taking it away from Thomas. I don't think that's in the Miami playbook. 44 on the kick, and a loss of a yard on the return with a flag back at the 27. Whoever's flag it is.
During the kick, holding. Return team, number 27. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
Well, that'll be a net of 55 there after the penalty on Kobe Burse. Miami ball when we come back.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Third oldest FBS stadium, Nippert Stadium. This is Carson Field at Nippert Stadium. It's been a playing field since 1901. The stadium built in 1915. Thanksgiving of 1923, in a game against Miami, Cincinnati center Jimmy Nippert was spiked, suffered an injury leading to blood poisoning, ended up losing his life as a result of that. And in his honor, Jimmy Nippert's grandfather donated the $250,000 required to complete what is now known as Nippert Stadium. Little history lesson that Cincinnati players get from Luke Fickell, who told us before the season he talks about 2 games, Game 1 and this rivalry, because he wants his players to know the history. Dominique Robinson with a gain of 4 on first down as Miami retains possession.
Boy, I love Brett Gabbert. Took a shot right in the chops when he threw that completion to Robinson. I mean, right in his face.
Davion Johnson gets the second down handoff. He's 3 yards shy of a first. Perry Young on the stop.
Yeah, I mean, right into the face of the defense. Teeth of the defense barreling down on a true freshman, which is why I was so excited to see him play. He didn't look like a true freshman.
3rd down, keep it on the ground. Johnson a first down run into the Cincinnati bench and nearly into Cincinnati territory.
You know, it was a question mark when Beaster went out. He's the best. He's their best running back. And so how do you replace that type of production? Well, you replace it by committee. Johnson and obviously Sheldon earlier in the first quarter, and this one seems to be Johnson's drive, but they have been a nice 1-2 punch in the run game from Miami University.
Run ranks have improved for Chuck Martin every year, each of his first 5 seasons. Last year ran it for 160, about middle of the country. That's a huge jump. Gabbert will stay on his feet and now go down rather than do something foolish with the ball. Malik Vann was in there with the initial pressure.
He gets up, let somebody on the defense have it. They're trying to, you're in the bottom of a pile, they're twisting your ankle and pawing at you, all kinds of stuff, and he's trying to get up and let's run the next play. I love his toughness. Showed it on that pass completion to Robinson. He's going to be some player for a long, long time for Chuck Martin.
Replacing Gus Ragland, a second-team All-MAC quarterback last year. And he will hand it off again to Johnson. Dragged down from behind by Malik Vann.
Levski in the middle, the center. Nank, the left guard, opening up a nice hole for Davion Johnson. Continuing to win at the line of scrimmage. Expect some type of pressure here for Marcus Freeman. 3rd and long. Gabbert, if I'm him, you find your best matchup and let the ball rip because you're going to get some blitz. And it's coming outside the left tackle, Tommy Doyle. Bring the tight end Hardy back as an extra pass blocker, and it did nothing
Gabbert goes down. Flying in to make the play, Michael Pitts.
Routes have to shorten themselves. You got to get back, get set, and the ball's got to come out when it's 3rd and long. You have to expect pressure, and that's just a little bit of inexperience on the part of Brett Gabbert. You see the outside pressure loading up the left side of the offensive line. They're going to get the pressure first and the finish.
That's the 6th combined sack of the game, 3 for each team. And the sack for Pitts, his 2nd, the junior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Ryan Montgomery will watch this Kyle Kramer punt sail out of bounds. Cincinnati football down by 3 here in the 2nd quarter.
Great teachers change lives.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you, teachers.
It only takes one.
It only takes one.
We can't lose great teachers. We got to continue to develop great teachers, and we got to make sure they understand that it's still, even whatever it is they're teaching, it's about relationships.
Mr. Richardson, you were the one that taught me I am able to do anything. Miss Julian Buchanan, you were the one that believed in me.
All part of Extra Yard for Teachers Week, an annual celebration led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that honors great teachers across the country. To learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard or search the hashtag Extra Yard Week.
Yeah, big possession here for Cincinnati. Got a big fumble recovery, unable to do anything offensively. They are right in this game with can either tie it or go ahead with some production on this drive.
Quiet day through the air for Ritter, and it's almost intercepted. Trent Cloud looked like he had to play a little defensive back there at the end of that throw, and it's 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, the corner was just sitting out there waiting on the route, and he had a corner route. It's a long throw for a quarterback, and it took a long time. The last chance you star Raymond almost came up with a big time interception. Got to read it and get it out a little bit quicker if you're Desmond Ritter.
Ritter, 1st down. It's Michael Warren running free out of the backfield, and a monster conversion for Cincinnati, again. More than 20.
Yeah, they get him matched against the true freshman Luke Bolden, and they go cover 1, which is man-to-man across the board with one safety in the middle. He got a running start, and Bolden could never catch up to Michael Warren.
Tavion Thomas in the game at running back. Ritter, long throw dropped. Thomas Geddes.
Got to catch that one. Got to catch that one.
Well, Warren caught this one.
Yeah, right on the money. I mean, he's just going to come right out of the backfield. He's got momentum. Bolden gets caught inside. He's actually over the center, and he's responsible for Michael Warren. I think you could complete that one.
That's nice of you to think.
Yeah, I mean, he's that wide open. You could give you that much time. I got to believe. I'm going to put my money on you that you can throw that one in for
partner.
completion.
That's nice of you. Thomas spun down. Emmanuel Rugamba, the Iowa transfer, another hit. What a strange week it must have been a couple of weeks ago for a couple of these defensive backs. Rugamba, number 5, Cedric Boswell, number 18. Both Iowa transfers started the season at Kinnick in a game that was close for a half against the Hawkeyes. Another 3rd and long for Cincinnati. And Ritter throws it well over the head of Ja'Shawn Jackson.
He just never seemed comfortable, and he got some pressure inside. Doug Costin, their best defensive player, the leader up front, and an excellent, and I mean excellent, inside pass rusher. Got right in the face of Ritter and forced that throw out wide. Costin is some player, Kevin. Watch the film on him, and he is all over the place, up and down the defensive line.
A former Villanova commit was going to play FCS football before Miami got to him late. Fair catch made after a punt of 36 by Thomas. 3:30 to go in the first half. Let's see who's slinging it today. Brought to you by Sling TV. It's me, Kevin Brown. No, it's Brett Gabbert, actually. Sorry, it's Miami quarterback Brett Gabbert.
Yeah, slinging it around, dropping screen passes with touch, throwing corner routes, flattening receivers off, pushing the ball down the field. I tell you what, he has been super impressive and can throw the deep ball with touch as well.
I thought you were going to keep fighting for my skill there. You let me down. Gabbert 6 for 6 for 94 yards in the first half. A good pickup of 6 by Maurice Thomas on first down. What is impressing you the most so far about the true freshman Gabbert?
I think it's the command of the offense. You know, he hadn't been there a lot of time, and then you go in, you compete, you find out you're going to be the starter a day before the game, and then the way he's handled it. Thought he played well against Iowa. You're making your first start. Think about that. Your first start on a collegiate level on the road at Iowa.
This play is going the wrong direction. Elijah Ponder just blew it up for a loss of 5.
Well, nice penetration, and that's where you start if you're Cincinnati, is right at the line of scrimmage. You got to bring some help in. You got to run 7-man fronts. Well, that time the big fella, the junior out of Atlanta, South Cobb High School, was Johnny on the spot.
They've been really good up front, Cincinnati, despite losing a couple of starters to the NFL. They will rush 4 on a 3rd and 9, and Gabbert has to throw away his first incompletion.
Well, he was looking for Davion Johnson to screen it to, but Ponder felt like, hey, I'm not being blocked well enough. I smell a rat. He drops into coverage and covers up the running back, Davion Johnson, so there's nowhere to go with the football for Gabbert. I mean, that was about as well played by Ponder as you could play it. Now
We just had a flag thrown.
Are there 12 men on the field?
Intentional grounding, offense. The quarterback was in the pocket and the ball did not reach the line of scrimmage. Loss of down, spot of the foul, brings up 4th down.
Nice job by the officials getting together and figuring that out after the play.
Well,
I'm not sure there was a receiver in the area either, to be honest.
Well, Johnson went inside, and I think Gabbert was expecting him to be outside when he threw the screen pass. And watch the work of Ponder. Ponder senses it, kind of steps back, covers up. And you think, hey, I can just ground it because I'm trying to throw a screen pass, but your running back gave you the 0-1-2.
So Montgomery with a bobble at his own 45. Ryan Montgomery spins into Miami territory, and with just over 2 minutes to go, Cincinnati will have excellent field position trying to tie or take the lead before halftime.
Yeah, this is excellent field position to start this drive for Desmond Ridder. You got to capitalize here. At the least, you want to walk off the field with a field goal.
And we'll hear from Kevin Emanuel and Jim Morris soon. Look ahead to Clemson-Syracuse, some Big Ten action, and a pretty cool pink out in Georgia. Great story you'll hear about in 2 minutes, 9 seconds of game time.
Oh, boy.
Warren spun down a loss of 2. Cameron Butler off the edge.
And I mean, he got there so quick that he almost beat the handoff to Warren. That's how you play along the defensive line. Nice outside move, back inside, and then right to the ball carrier. It's a nice inside swim, and right to the kitchen of Michael Warren.
Another negative play for Cincinnati, and Warren makes the catch after a bobble here and gets thrown out of bounds. Sterling Weatherford, who's had an active day with a hit. 3rd and long coming up yet again for Cincinnati.
So impressed by the concentration on Warren's part. Bobbles it, it goes up in the air. You're expecting to get hit, and so sometimes when that happens, pass catchers will turn to absorb the hit and then try to reel the ball in. He kept his eyes on the ball.
How about this for Cincinnati? That 77-yard scoring drive, The rest of the game, they have actually gone backwards. And
Wow.
here comes another flag. Everybody's pointing. Every flag is out. 3 of them down at the line of scrimmage. Ferguson's pointing at Lemon. Lemon's pointing at Ferguson. Mass hysteria.
Who's on first?
Bearcats' heads are falling off.
Long time to sort this one out.
False start, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
But it's been a rough
Yeah.
first half for Jeremy Cooper.
You hate to keep calling him out. That's his 3rd accepted penalty, 4th called on him.
Redshirt freshman.
That was Luke Fickell's area of concern, that left guard spot.
Left guard and left tackle, which is why we mentioned it. Ferguson has moved from right tackle to the left side, add some element of experience over there.
3rd and 13, screen play Warren, and snuffed out pretty well by Miami with Warren down to the 40.
Got to go for it here.
You think so?
Yeah, I think if you're Luke Fickell, you go for it. You're out of field goal range, but you don't want to give the football back to Miami with any time left. So I think you go for it here. First, you try the hard count, try to draw an offsides penalty, get you a cheap 5 yards, and then a little bit easier to convert.
Only 2 attempts on the year. Under a minute to go. Ritter will throw it on 4th and 6. Wide open for the first down. It's Rashad Medeiros.
Climbing the ladder. If you're Medeiros, who's an excellent route runner, arguably their best route runner, and can really break defenders down to get himself open against man coverage. It's zone there, which I'm kind of shocked that Miami was playing defensively. Want to be up on a receiver, force Ritter to get rid of the football. They give him some cushion. It's a nice throw and catch.
After a gain of 11, Ritter will go long. And tight coverage there, no flag. Medeiros had no room on Mike Brown.
Mike Brown's played a nice first half. He had an excellent game last year against Minnesota when he had 10 tackles. He's defended the pass well. He has been right around the line of scrimmage. Can play in coverage. He can play in the box. Very versatile player for the defense of Miami.
He's played in all 27 possible games in his Miami career. Right on the edge of field goal range right now, Cincinnati. They need some more yards. They'll get them from Ritter. And he is right at the line to gain the 19. First down, stops the clock at 33 seconds. Cincinnati does have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, they run a twist, and it's right in the middle of the formation. And 2 Miami University defenders that were running the game, they ran into one another.
Cincinnati, they're first.
And so that gave
This will
Ritter
be a 30-second timeout.
the middle of the field, uncontested, to pick up the first down. I mean, they just collide with one another. And they're running a game. They twist the 2 defensive ends, knock one another off, and the middle of the field just opens up for Desmond Ritter. Just so inviting, and he's so athletic. Picks up the first down, and the drive is going to continue.
Cincinnati 0 for 3 in the red zone last week. A blocked field goal, an interception. Tavion Thomas late in the game fumbled at the goal line. 1 for 1 today after a 3 for 9 start to the year. They have to at least get something going into the half.
Boy, he's got the tight end on a corner route.
There's Warren. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, the tight end wide open. DeGuara in the end zone.
Oh, my goodness. He is going to kick himself in film study tomorrow. Tight end right up the seam. Nobody takes him. Right up the seam, top of the screen. That's about as wide open as you get. Safety is going the other way. Never sees him.
And that's his guy. That's his favorite target. DeGuara just never looked his way. Now a wobbly ball, and it's DeGuara inside the 5.
Yeah.
Why make it easy on yourself, right?
Came back and said, hey, look, I was wide open. Give me a shot. Give me a chance down here. 6'3", big target, comes right down and finds it.
Got 2 timeouts left. Here's Warren. He'll be stopped short. Cincinnati will have to use its second timeout with 13 seconds to go.
If you're Miami University, you're just trying to hold to a field goal now, a small win.
Timeout, Cincinnati.
They're
second.
We refer to those as small wins.
To use their full timeout.
Get in field goal range, especially this deep, you're just looking to hold up. And I'm wondering, just wondering, with 13 seconds left here, what Luke Fickell will do. 1 timeout is second down. We can easily get 2 plays run, maybe even a third.
Well, tonight in the Dome, it's Clemson and Syracuse. These teams have split the meetings the last 2 years. Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence were hurt in consecutive years in those games. Trevor Lawrence tried to stay upright against a pretty good Syracuse front that got cashed by Maryland last week. 7:30 Eastern on ABC and streaming on the ESPN app. Not just Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne off to an excellent start for Clemson. Nearly a $130 a game and wins over Georgia Tech and Texas A&M.
I know you Syracuse alums, and you guys travel. You travel heavy. You know, you guys are in packs, but this one, not so much. In the Dome, there's supposed to be about close to 50,000.
Yeah, this sellout
packing in there. It'll be loud, but it's a tall order today.
Redder just split out to the left. It's a direct snap coming to Warren.
Well, I get cute.
Warren will score. Touchdown Cincinnati, its first lead of the day.
If Warren could throw it, I'm not sure he has a pass attempted during his career, but they blitzed from the corner, and Ritter was just out there wide open. They were not playing pass whatsoever. I don't know that they were playing much run defense either. The way Michael Warren walked into the end zone.
What were they doing exactly? Two touchdown runs for Warren. 25 total scores, 23 rushing touchdowns in his career, and Cincinnati's put up 14 in a row.
Well, that missed opportunity to DeGuara will haunt him all year long.
Offside.
Because
defense, number 49. That penalty's declined. Extra point is good.
It'll haunt Ritter all year long because he'll end up with, let's just say, he has 25 touchdown passes. He'll always say, I should have had a 26th. Instead, Michael Warren scored the touchdown on that drive. But I'm telling you, film study tomorrow, that'll be one that he is just pulling his hair out. This guy runs like a grown man. Nice pad level load, doesn't mess around. Certainly one of the best, if not the best back in the American Conference. One of the best in the country. They blitz. Look at Ritter. Ritter's just hanging out. Hey, throw it out here.
Hey, that's how it feels.
I can save face by catching a touchdown pass on the one I missed to DeGuara.
Yeah. Well, at least they scored 6, and Ritter will be less likely to go sit in a grotto and hide his head in his hands somewhere.
Oh, now you're feeling pretty good about a 14-10 lead going into the half.
Swing of the arms and a line drive kick off the foot of Ryan Jones. Maurice Thomas is a good returner for Miami, but he's covered up at the 25. It was Dingle in there again. 29 for Cincinnati, the freshman.
Some guys just have a knack for playing and covering on special teams, punt returns. He seems to have a nice beat and doing a nice job on teams for Cincinnati, excuse me.
Well, Well, Cincinnati will get the ball to start the second half. You love those moments. You love scoring going into the half and then getting the ball to start. Well played first half defensively, but Cincinnati on a couple of drives punches it in for a 14-10 lead. Stick around for the ESPN College Football Halftime Report. After these messages, Kevin Connors, Emmanuel Acho, and Jim Mora will be with you on the other side. The 124th meeting in the battle for the victory bell. Cincinnati trying to make it 14 straight, up 14-10.
Living on college campuses are 3 times more likely.
You're watching the All-State Saturday Kickoff.
Time to take a look at today's best performer, brought to you by AT&T. A 4-point lead for Cincinnati. No surprise that Michael Warren is the man. 5 catches out of the backfield, Andre Ware, in addition to 2 touchdown runs.
Yeah, 2 tough touchdown runs, especially the first one, but right up the sideline, coming wide open, has excellent hands. He is a 3-down back where you can use him in pass protection, running the football, as well as catching it out of the backfield. He has displayed every aspect of his game in the first half of this one.
He doesn't want to work. He just wants to bang on the drum all day, Michael Warren.
Get to do it when you go in the end zone.
A couple of scores from 1 yard out and 8 yards out. 25 touchdowns in his career, 23 rushing. His Cincinnati Bearcats have a 14-10 lead on Miami, Ohio. They will start with the football. Kevin Brown, Andre Ware, our entire ESPN crew, happy to be with you at the 124th meeting in the battle for the victory bell. A short kick return out across the 20 by Trey Tucker. And Cincinnati will start with the football after scoring going into the half. First half stats are pretty even in terms of total yardage. Cincinnati up by 5, passing, rushing. The red zone, this was a big area of concern for Cincinnati. They were 3 for 9 coming in. Miami was 9 for 9, and the Bearcats defense has the stop.
Yeah, 2 for 2 in the red zone, and they stole a drive, I feel like, at the end of the first half. When you're getting the football, an opportunity to go up, but also you want to put some points on the board knowing that you're getting the football out of halftime, and we were able to do that.
Pretty quiet first half for Ritter. Didn't have much time to throw, and here he'll give it to Warren. Ridden out of bounds by Bart Barati after a gain of 15.
Well, the truck has gotten started. Finished the first half with a touchdown run and opened in the second half with a nice run to get things going for this Cincinnati offense.
What did the Cincinnati coaches tell us yesterday? He needs to get beat up and get angry, Warren. He improves as the game goes on. Ritter will sling it away with pressure in his face after being sacked 3 times in the first half. Doug Costin, Dean Lemon were there.
We go back to Michael Warren here on second down. You got to get it to about 2nd and medium. If you're Luke Fickell, you want to live in 2nd and medium, 3rd and medium. So I trust number 3 to get me there.
Ritter, they had Warren available for a check down. He is sacked by Cameron Butler, his 2nd of the game, and there's a flag. It's going to be a holding against Cincinnati.
Just couldn't hold up. They've gone to Vincent McConnell at right tackle.
Holding, offense, number 75. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 3rd down.
In place of Metz to start the second half, and he is the guy that gets beaten. It's Cameron Butler, who is having one heck of a game. A nice lowering of the shoulder to shorten the distance between he and the quarterback so he can turn the corner.
Sophomore out of Florence, Kentucky, Butler had just a half sack last season. He's got 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Once again, Cincinnati is in 3rd and a mile, and there's a flag down as Ritter's pass is dropped by Medeiros.
Maybe an offsides penalty against Miami, University of
Offside,
Ohio.
defense, number 47, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's just unfortunate, and you know, little details, attention to details. You hear coaches talk about that all the time. You're off the field if that doesn't happen. Off the field in a punting situation, and you give Ritter one more shot at picking up a first down here.
That was a rarely used defensive lineman, Lonnie Phelps Jr. Need to get the 47 on 3rd and 15. Ritter incomplete with a flag down. Alec Pierce with the late coverage from Travion Banks helping out Cedric Raymond.
Banks took a poor angle and was going, beelining to the receiver where there was going to be contact.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 6. 15-yard penalty includes automatic first down.
Yeah, the contact down the field and the poor angle, which that led to the interference, and then all of that, you go back to Lonnie Phelps lining up offsides. It's the extra play that amounted to the first down, so to speak.
Mark this moment in the game. If Cincinnati wins it, from 3rd and 20 and a drop to a first down within 2 plays thanks to penalties. Ritter had nobody to fake it to there, and that was busted from the start. Dean Lemon, who already has a sack, takes him down.
Had a pretty good game against Cincinnati last year where Lemon had 6 tackles in that ball game. And you mentioned it, had a sack already in this one. He's played a nice game himself out on the edge for Miami.
On the rollout, Ritter's pass complete to Pierce, right near the stick. Should have enough for a first down.
Well, I just want to get him something to keep him going, keep his footing in this game, and a nice easy throw from Ritter to Pierce. Nice short roll where he could take advantage of his athletic ability, and the ball comes out on time. Now you can kind of dial something up for Tavion Thomas here on first down.
It is Thomas. We talked to Mike Denbrock about Tavion Thomas yesterday. He said he's as good as anyone if it's just football. Incredibly talented kid. Missed some time at the end of camp. Missed the opening game against UCLA. They are thrilled to have him back with the team.
Boy, I would love to see Mike Denbrock go back to that formation and then just a quick pitch. Seal the edges and just let him get to the outside. It was, there for the taking. That last play.
Motion Tucker. It's Thomas cutting it back inside for the first down, Cincinnati.
A similar play to the last one, just going the other way with Tavion Thomas. When he's in the game, they're not going to try to pass protect with him unless it's just something quick. So if I'm Miami and I see 5 in the game, I'm going to creep up. I'm going to play some man-to-man, get in a receiver's jersey, and actually pack another defender in the box because they love to run when he's in the ball game.
They've got 8 up near the box right now. Going to back off a little bit. Ritter looking to throw over the top, and Pierce cannot hang on to it with a good late hand in there from Cedric Raymond.
Well, you just got to get physical sometimes at the end of it, and that's the man-to-man. They go 8 in the box to stop the run. Man-to-man on the outside with Raymond and Pierce, and then it just becomes, hey, who can make a play? That time, it's Raymond that's victorious.
Receiver downfield, offense, number 75. That penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
Another potential offensive line penalty. That was Ferguson, the left tackle.
How's a big fella get down the field on a 3-step drop? He's got to sit in there, block. It's supposed to come out quickly. Maybe another hitch, and he found Pierce down the field, but sometimes there's just no excuse for some of these penalties on the offensive line for Cincinnati.
Warren back in the game on second down.
Incomplete pass on first down about 90% of the time. It's going to be a run to get them back to third and medium. And now you have your entire playbook open to you. Where are the matchups? What's the front? 4-2? You got 5. The running back's responsible for 1. Wouldn't be surprised if Michael Warren gets the ball here.
Warren was open in the middle of the field.
Wide open.
Wide open indeed. He overthrew Cloud.
And sometimes a young quarterback, Ritter's just a sophomore, he's thinking big all the time, but right in front of him was Michael Warren. Whether it's a run or a check down pass, which essentially is an extended run, he had him wide open over the middle of the field.
Cincinnati's going to keep the offense on the field. Bearcats have already hit a first down.
I mean, this is right on the fringe of field goal range where Luke Fickell trusts his kicker, and he's going to elect to go for it here.
They've had major trouble in the kicking game the last 2 years. They'll throw it. Ritter looking for it. DeGuara. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, is that pretty?
And that, my friend, is the definition of throwing a guy open. 2 defenders are there, a corner and a safety, and he drops it in the only place that they can't get a hand on the football, and only DeGuara was going to catch it. This is just an excellent throw. Beautiful spiral to the big tight end.
16 straight games with a catch for the all-conference tight end DeGuara. A good lesson for kids watching, high schoolers at home right now. Desmond Ritter and Josiah DeGuara, both unrated in our ESPN recruiting rankings. What a connection they have formed here at Cincinnati. This was a 10-0 Miami lead early in the game. 21 straight for the hometown Bearcats. Nobody in the FBS had any interest in these two. Desmond Ritter was Cincinnati or Eastern Kentucky. Josiah DeGuara, all the way from Folsom, California. Huge parts of Cincinnati's 11-win season last year. And they hook up for a 27-yard touchdown on fourth down. Remember, Andre, this drive was over. It was a 3rd and 20 incompletion, negated by an offsides penalty against Miami, then a pass interference on 3rd and 15, and a few plays later, 7 points.
And you can look back to the offsides penalty.
And another late flag thrown at the end of this return.
Of the youngster Lonnie Phelps. Miami was off the field. And then all of a sudden, you know, the drive continues. You get that, as you described, the pass interference and into the end zone. But I'd go back further than that.
During the return, holding. Receiving team, number 29. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Go back to the end of the first half. That's when the momentum really changed in this game. And Cincinnati able to, as I mentioned earlier, steal a drive, pound it in for a touchdown run by Warren. And right out the locker room, another end zone trip.
And after the penalty, horrible field position for Miami, which starts with a give to Tyree Shelton and a gain of 3 yards.
You kind of understand the play call because of a young quarterback, and Brett Gabbert backed up on his own end of the field. And Miami's got looks like a big offensive lineman down.
Timeout on the field for an injured player.
Mike Skibinski, I'm sorry.
Starting right tackle. The redshirt senior Skibinski being attended to. We'll check on him when we return.
This will be a full media timeout.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Pedigree. Pedigree. Feed the good.
Matt Skibinski has just carted off the Miami, Ohio right tackle. Bad news for the Redhawks, who have given up 21 in a row.
And 7 at the 13.
There's Skibinski, redshirt senior from Livonia, Michigan. Never been a starter before this year, always a fill-in guy, and he has to leave on the cart. So Jarrett LaRubio's kicked out to right tackle. Jack Schroer is in at the guard spot. A good run here for Davion Johnson. Will pick up the first down. Run down by Forrest after a gain of 10.
And a great tackle in the open field by Derek Forrest, the free safety. He makes all the calls on the back end, gets everybody lined up. When they go man to man, he is really directing traffic back there, but he saved a touchdown run by Johnson.
Maurice Thomas in the backfield on this first down, and give to him. Thomas weaves his way through for a couple.
Thomas comes in the game, he's touching the football. If he's in the backfield, they're going to give it to him on sweeps. If he lines up out wide, they're going to throw it deep to him.
In the backfield again, a fake to him. Gabbard off his back foot and just threw it away. That technically is his first incompletion of the game because of the intentional grounding at the end of the first half, wiping out an incompletion.
And just a smart play. He knew that he had someone coming right in his lap. Just get it out and throw it away and come back and fight on third down. Protection broke down. Just get rid of it. I'm telling you, he plays years ahead of where he is in terms of his classification.
Younger brother Blaine Gabbert, the first rounder, facing a big third down, and it's incomplete. Not called in by the tight end Andrew Homer, with good coverage from the back from Derek Forrest.
That Homer should have caught that one. Big pressure the last two plays, and Marcus Freeman told us he was going to bring some heat on him. See if he could stand in there and take it. He was going to hit the quarterback and try to start to affect him as the game grew on. I thought that one should have been a catch by Homer, and right about the first down mark. I'm not sure it would have been a first down, but that's one get your hands on. You got to come up with that one.
Michael Pitts was unblocked up the middle. Already a couple of sacks in the game. Sets up another punt. Montgomery back to get it.
Oh, good punt.
It certainly was. All the way back at his 25, Ryan Montgomery. And Miami is in there on the coverage. 51 yards on the kick from Kyle Kramer, a return of just 5. Time for a look at today's mayhem moment. Brought to you by Allstate. 3rd and 20 facing Cincinnati in the last drive, and a couple of key penalties. Lonnie Phelps lines up offsides, so this drop was negated. That made it 3rd and 15. Then a pass interference penalty against Travion Banks gave Cincinnati a first down, and on 4th and 5, Desmond Ridder found Josiah DeGuara.
A dime throw to the big tight end, and we stand at 21-10.
First play of this drive from Ridder, broken up. Good late close on Alec Pierce. Mike Brown, Emmanuel Rugamba were over there.
Rugamba and Raymond have both had fine games. And Raymond, especially in special teams, that big punt, he was the first down the field to kind of redirect the returner. He didn't do a bunch of white jerseys, but he's played a solid football game.
Second down, give it to Warren. This is the Cincinnati way. After an incompletion on first down, give it to the truck, but he only gets one before Bart Parati makes the hit.
And here comes a pressure package of some sort.
Oh, this is bad news for Cincinnati. That's their middle linebacker, Brian Wright, has to be helped off the field, the redshirt senior.
He does everything. Calls the defense, quarterback of the defense, their emotional leader. He's hoping he can get back at some point in this quarter or in the fourth quarter.
He's moving a little bit slowly earlier. Meanwhile, a 3rd and 9. Pocket collapses on Ritter, and the pass is
You're calling it an interception.
intercepted. It was Travion Banks who jumped in front. What a huge takeaway for Miami, which will have the ball in Cincinnati territory.
And they'll certainly look at this. Every play is reviewed. But this one, as Banks is trying to reel it in before it got to the turf. Let's take a look to see if he indeed catches it. It's bouncing around, but remember, the ruling on the field was an interception. A couple of different angles. It looks like it's out, but you can't tell. It's blocked.
The ruling on the previous play
Hands are
of an
under
interception by the defense is under further review.
Ruling on the field will be confirmed, my friend. The hand is under the football as it's loose, and then he reels it in and kind of seals it to his knees. See, I can get that in three looks, 3 angles, bam. Let's go play. Now I think the replay officials are doing a great job. That non-targeting call was amazing.
Our replay officials today: Darren Haas, Peter Voss, no relation. This, if it stands, will be Banks' first interception of his career as a senior. Let's take one more look.
It'll come loose. About right there, but he's quick with his hand. His right hand gets under the football, and you can see it from the frontal angle a little bit better. But this is going to be confirmed. And I think at worst stands. But I saw enough to confirm it.
Look from the back.
Can't see it there. There's another angle from the front that really shows it from the quarterback's view. This angle right here is the best one. So it bounces.
I mean, it's slipping out.
And then right there, it's sealed. He's got it sealed on his knee with his right hand. And that one sold it for me, because a Cincinnati player runs in at the point where if it hit the ground, you don't see it. And so the next thing you know, in a split second, he's got his right hand under the ball and sealed to his leg.
I think I'm not quite as sold as you. My only question is there enough to
I'm pushing
overturn?
all my chips to the middle of the table.
I think it would stand. I don't think it'll be confirmed, but we'll find out. Bet you Dr. Pepper.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Interception, first down, Miami University.
I owe you Dr. Pepper.
So an 11-point lead for Cincinnati. A quick update. Let's send it to Kevin Connors in the studio. Kev?
Hey, Kev, Maryland put up 79 and 63 in its first 2 games, but they were held to just 2 points at the half by Temple. Third quarter, though, Anthony McFarland Jr. his 5th touchdown, but the very next play from scrimmage, how about 79 yards? Anthony Russo to Jaden Blue. 13-9, Temple leading Maryland, Kev.
All right, Kev, thank you. And on first down, Derek Forrest sticks his hand in there for a deflection and a Brett Gabbert throw. So Temple with the lead on Maryland could be the classic letdown spot after the Terps hung 63 on Syracuse last week. Moved into the top 25.
Feeling a little too good about themselves, maybe?
Maybe.
Man, Mike Loxley had it rolling until this week. They got some football left to play, though.
Davion Johnson upended Derek Forrest in on the play. Harry Young as well. A lot of tough Big Ten games coming from Maryland. That's a good Temple team, as Cincinnati knows. Conference brethren in the American East. Third down, they'll go with a handoff. Wow, Johnson loses a yard and a quick snap. And this will be decision time for Chuck Martin on 4th and 7.
I think he was trying to get anything on 3rd down, knowing that he was going to go for it on 4th down based on where the ball is spotted. We had a nice visit with defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman yesterday. It was just a joy to sit down and talk to him, talk X's and O's, and he is all about Cincinnati football.
Marcus Freeman sends some pressure on 4th down. Gabbard floats it out for the tight end Homer. Incomplete. Good coverage from Forrest and no flag in sight. So after the interception, Cincinnati will get the ball back in a heartbeat.
I asked him to describe his defense, and he's one that wants to create negative yardage and challenge. And right there, you see the challenge with the tight end working against the safety Forrest.
I think that's a good no call, too, as Forrest has every right for that football.
And Forrest was a little acting job at the end of that one.
Another injured Miami offensive lineman. The Redhawks have already lost Skibinski, the starting right tackle.
That's Tommy Doyle.
That's Tommy Doyle, their left tackle, maybe their best offensive player. Tavion Thomas with a bruising run on 1st down. And concerns are twofold for Miami. Back on defense after the turnover, and with a couple of starting tackles out.
They got business at hand right now, and that's getting control of things defensively and getting off the field.
Another running play for Thomas. 3rd down and 3 coming up, and Kipler on the stop.
And I'm sure teams around the American don't want to see this. Another back emerging to give Michael Warren some breaks during the game, but Thomas is a talented sophomore out of Dayton, Ohio, Dunbar High School. Every game gets a little bit better.
6'2", 233 in the Cincinnati backfield. Ritter gets rid of it quickly. Caught 1st down for Jackson. And with his forward momentum, he's got to pick up a 5 out to the 49. Kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday tomorrow with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the ESPN app, 10 a.m. Eastern. Randy Moss sits down with former LSU and current Browns teammates OBJ, Jarvis Landry. Peyton Manning interviews J.J. Watt. Plus a whole lot more previews of 49ers Bengals right down the road from here. And the rematch of the NFC title game between the Saints and the Rams. Ritter, pump and go. Down the sideline. Thomas Geddes. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Let him rip. And Desmond Ritter let it rip then. What a throw. The Thomas Geddes, and right in stride. That's across the field. That's 1 hash mark all the way down to the far sideline, and it was on a rope.
"51-yard score to the senior Geddes."
Just kind of trying to move coverage. A nice pump fake. And that gave Geddes time to get behind the cornerback, Zedric Raymond, who has had a very good football game, a solid game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. The offense, players coming onto the field off the bench to celebrate. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Can't help it sometimes. Big play like that, you cannot help it.
Bang that drum, Thomas Geddes.
Kevin, how about a bounce-back game from last week's shellacking against Ohio State, 42-0.
Luke Fickell asked his players all week, are you a hungry dog? Are you a wounded dog? Pretty definitive answer right now. Cincinnati, after falling behind early, has scored 28 in a row. 6th career touchdown catch for Thomas Geddes.
Let's go up top.
us out on the new Fifth Third Arena tailgate located on the west side of Fifth Third Arena.
Good job getting Raymond. I just missed it there. What? No, I'm good.
Football on all TVs and the Jeff Weiler Vision video board.
This season, for every field goal and an extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to that university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. 28 in a row for Cincinnati Bearcats. Thomas Geddes, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida, had a drop earlier in the game. Reels one in from 51 yards out. And Desmond Ritter's thrown for a couple of touchdowns in this half. Cincinnati will kick it from its own 20 after the unsportsmanlike conduct.
I love this.
Following the touchdown. Maurice Thomas. And decent starting field position for Miami out across the 30, a return of 23.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown. And this play goes back to when they allowed the forward pass. The quick 3-hit and the hitch to hold the defender and get it up in the air and allow the receiver to run under it, Geddes, and then watch the stop and go by Geddes to just hold the cornerback Raymond just enough to get the space necessary for his quarterback Ritter to drop it in. That is offense at its finest.
Are you saying that because Cincinnati's uniforms look like they
about
were
the
worn
throwbacks?
when they started the forward pass? Gabbert with a good answer on his first play. Cam Blakely makes his first catch of the year, good for 12.
A little stutter and go on the outside. That's sweet. No wonder they got a penalty for coming on the field.
Gabbert will keep it. Nice play fake. And Brett Gabbert shouldered out of bounds by Derek Forrest after a run of 10. First down, Miami.
5 escorting 5 to the sideline, but they're right back at it, trying to get some tempo, get a quick score here, and get back in this ball game.
Second time they've thrown this play, a little flip to the running back with a convoy of blockers. Davion Johnson is out to the 19, a gain of 27.
Sometimes when you go out with an injury, guys see it as an opportunity, and Johnson and Sheldon have both kind of seized the moment in this one. You got to get in the end zone here if you're Miami University.
That's a drop from Jalen Walker.
Boy, I might have stayed up top. He had a receiver working to the top of the screen. Cam Blakely, and he actually got free. It got jammed, but he came free, and if you just hold the safety inside with your eyes, let him work to get free, now you got an easier throw. And it's a closer throw to Gabbert.
Both starting tackles out for Miami. Gabbert still with plenty of time to throw, but nowhere to throw to. Now across his body, and he heaves it over the top of Walker.
Missed him twice. He missed him at coming out of the original cut where Walker was open, and then there, as he's moving to his left, sails it over his head. He had him initially right at the top of his drop, didn't throw it, and then had him again for 6 points twice in one play. Now a big third down here.
Young offensive line, a redshirt freshman at left tackle, Bennett Clark, a true freshman at right guard, Caleb Schaefer. Again, time to throw, incomplete. And if Miami now, do you just kick it, get within 15? Yes, that's what the Red Hawks will do.
And he had Quentin Hardy, the tight end, to the short side of the field, running wide open in the end zone. And Hardy's going to have that talk with him when he comes back.
Well, Gabbert, after a 6 for 6 first half, is now 2 for 9 here in the second.
Oh, boy. They needed points, though, Kevin, of some sort. Something to kind of slow the momentum of this Cincinnati team. And here's an opportunity.
They get a 2-score game. Sam Sloman, and he'll do just that right down the middle. Stops a 28-0 Cincinnati scoring run.
Cincinnati leads Miami 28-13.
went from 41 and 36 today, Sloman, and Miami, Ohio is within a couple of touchdowns.
Well, the keys for Cincinnati defensively were stop the run. They gave up 260 yards on the ground to Ohio State. They've somewhat reeled that in the first half. Johnson and Shelton were doing their thing. They wanted to eliminate big plays. That was key number 2. They've pretty much done that and be solid on third down. They were top 5 on third downs in 2018. Done a nice job in that department as well throughout the game.
124th meeting. Cincinnati has won 13 straight between these two. Miami still has the all-time lead, 59, 57, and 7 times.
That exact stat is 4 of 11 for Miami on third downs.
And I believe they were 4 for 6 in the first half, so that's 5 in a row they failed to convert. This has been a close game of late. A lot of one-score games recently in this rivalry between Miami, Ohio and Cincinnati. 2016, down 3 in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati came back. Tim Green ran it in for the win. The next year, one of the most dramatic games in 120-plus. Malik Clements, a 15-yard pick six in the final 90 seconds for a Cincinnati win. And then last year at a rainy Paul Brown Stadium, an interception for Forrest, a couple of touchdowns for Warren. That was a 7-0 game going into the fourth. And Luke Fickell's Bearcats scored 2 more for the shutout victory. They know what this game means. Luke Fickell said it's all about respecting the rivalry. Chuck Martin told us this is the biggest game for every Miami alumnus, every Miami fan. And for the Redhawks, it's been nearly a decade and a half of frustration. Their last win in this game back in 2005. On first down, Ritter will keep it. Bart Barati, the nickel, very good player with a stop after 2.
Yeah, Barati, one of our impact players coming into this game, made one heck of an open field tackle, taking on the blocker, able to slip him, and if he doesn't, Ritter's going to run for a while. Hit a nice open field tackle there.
So he's the most emotional kid on their team. He'll hit himself in the face when he's running down the field on special teams. Second down, Warren bounces off a couple of tacklers. Ritter gets a little chip block in there, and here goes the truck. Michael Warren to the house. 73 yards.
Park the truck in the house. How about that? What a nice run. How about the spin move, the power, the vision? Showed it all on that run. What a run by Michael Warren. Just a junior out of Toledo, Ohio.
Had an 81-yard touchdown run against Tulane last year. Second longest scoring run in program history. He jumps back onto the leaderboard from 73 outs. Cincinnati answers the Miami field goal with 7.
He's got to go over and pound that drum. Third touchdown run of the game for Michael Warren. Averaging 10.2 yards per carry. Yeah, there we go.
He's too tired to pound it any harder.
Run for 73. Hey, we'll give you the night off on the drums. But what a run. Showing some elusiveness, showing some speed, the vision, cutback ability, and the rest of it is forget about it. You cruise into the end zone in the truck. Look out, American Conference. Here comes Michael Warren.
Cincinnati's first 1,000-yard rusher in 6 seasons last year. Set school records with 20 touchdowns, 18 rushing. 3 scores on the ground today. 5 total touchdowns on the year. Maurice Thomas will take it out of the end zone. And that decision does not pay off.
You know, sometimes, every once in a while, you know, you got a quarterback can spring a guy, right? You know, Ritter throws the run-breaking block for Michael Warren. Just a little bit of weather for it. Doesn't have to be a knockout shot, but a little bit, just a little bit, where he can't get his hands on Warren. And then the rest is history. Nice job of working together on that play.
Remember Luke Fickle told us yesterday that Ritter works out with the offensive lineman? Thinking like a tackle a little bit there.
There you go.
Gets the chip in. Now Gabbert is crunched by Malik Vann. The truck with the touchdown and the van with the ensuing sack.
I love it. That's good stuff. The truck and now the van. Malik Vann with his first sack of the year. Slips inside. You got a young redshirt freshman left tackle in the ball game, and the sophomore wins that battle.
Right through Bennett Clark, who is in for the injured Tommy Doyle. Again, both tackles are out for Miami. Sorensen on the spinner. He's going backwards as well. This is a defensive clinic right now for Cincinnati, and Joel DeBlanco gets in on the tackle for Los Mayhem.
Yeah, but I'm going to credit Gerald White. Their do-it-all outside linebacker who shows up on film like nobody else. They use him to blitz. He just has a knack for timing things and being around the line of scrimmage. He slows him down where others can make the tackle, but I'm going with Gerald White with an outstanding play.
And by the way, Brian Wright is back in the game, 11 for Cincinnati, their middle linebacker. Set up the screen on 3rd and long, need the 31 for the first down. Miami gets a lot of it back, but Cincinnati will stop Johnson about 6 or 7 yards shy.
Yeah, just enough to give the punter, Kyle Kramer, room where he feels comfortable. Doesn't have to one-step it. He can go through his routine here and maybe hit a good one.
Hit a good one last time from 51 yards.
Yes, he did.
4th-year starter. Only had 1 punt blocked in his career. On to more than 170. Gets this one away cleanly. A wobbler to the sideline. Not a very good one.
Yeah, that went behind the gunner. It's Raymond, Zedric Raymond.
Officials timeout for a player injury.
All right, time now to take a look at our college football rankings this week, brought to you by PlayStation. Cincinnati lost at Ohio State 42-0 last week. The Buckeyes are in another barn burner, 51-10 at what might be a decent Indiana team.
It's a nice fit. Justin Fields at Ohio State.
And anybody who didn't see that coming just hadn't seen enough of Justin Fields beforehand. Even going back to his high school days, this kid was a stud. He transfers from Georgia, which is blowing the doors off Arkansas State. Next week, the big game between Georgia and number 7 Notre Dame in Athens. Any of these games scare you tonight? It's all no ranked team is playing another ranked team this week. It's all ranked teams against
not really
teams.
Just maybe Kentucky and Florida, but now playing with a backup quarterback, Kentucky. You got to feel pretty good about Florida going into Lexington, but not really.
Ethan Tucky, the injured Cincinnati player, saw this stat on game day this morning. The last time we had a week like this where no ranked team played another ranked team, 7 teams in the top 25 lost to an unranked team.
A lot of upsets that day.
Yeah, potential for chaos later on in the day. Who knows where? Not much chaos right now. Cincinnati a heavy favorite and a big lead. Michael Warren with a well-deserved breather after 3 touchdowns. Bearcats 4 touchdowns on the last 5 drives. After 1 score in the first 5, and they give it to Trey Tucker to start this one.
There's really nothing there. And Still continuing to play and fight hard as this Miami defense. Breakdown here and there, a couple of big plays. DeGuara. And then Geddes. He's giving him a nice, comfortable lead.
Could be the final play of the quarter. Thomas slips through. Thomas almost broke that one. He's got a first down, a gain of 8, as Barati took him down by the leg. Thomas a little bit slow to get up.
Yeah, he wants to play. He's reaching around that left ankle area, but he's like, wait a minute, I don't want to go out. Getting some playing time here, much deserved playing time.
Luke Fickell's going to take the air out of the third quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Are you a hungry dog or are you a wounded dog? That was Luke Fickell's question to his team all week. Down 10-0, the Bearcats have exploded 35 out of the next 38 points in a big lead. Welcome back. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Kevin Brown, Andre Ware, the red and black faithful loving every second of the 124th meeting of the battle for the victory bell. Oldest non-conference rivalry in FBS. Cincinnati a 3-score lead. Trying to make it 4. Desmond Ridder missed Josiah DeGuara.
Hey, what? I don't know how DeGuara went unrecruited, because he shows some speed, excellent route runner, tough at the line of scrimmage, and he's come free a couple of times where he's just wide open and just been overthrown or ignored by Ridder. But that one, at least the effort was there. That should have been another 6 points.
And there's Tommy Doyle, the left tackle, getting carted off for Miami. So both starting tackles have been carted off.
Wow.
Michael Warren. This one is not going to be a 73-yard touchdown run.
This just tells you how physical a football game it is when you lose 2 starting tackles, your right tackle and your left tackle, and Doyle being the best along the front for Miami. And this is going to be tough going forward. Hopefully they get him back. It's not as serious as it looks, but that's tough to replace.
Well, this is the difficulty of being a school like Miami. You have a non-conference schedule that features Iowa, Cincinnati, and next week, oh, by the way, Ohio State. You don't want to get too beat up before you start MAC play, which is really what they play for with a championship chance. There's a third down scamper for Ridder and a first down. Cincinnati, a gain of 18.
Yeah, that's the #1 goal is to win or compete or be in the conference championship game, and you get beat up like that, it's tough. Ridder still doing his thing on a quarterback draw or a big first down, showing you a little athleticism.
But if you're a program like Miami, you have to go to Ohio State, you have to go to Iowa, you have to play some of those games as guarantee games for your financial stability. Nice play in the backfield here. Cameron Butler's been all over the Cincinnati backfield. I think that's 4 tackles for loss along with 2 sacks for Butler in the game.
First-year starter, just a sophomore from Florence, Kentucky. And he's going to be a good player for a while. 6'3", 252, and excellent pass rusher, showing you he can play the run there. There's a truck in the game. No, we got Tavion Thomas back there. I could see maybe a little quick pitch out. Let him get the edge here on the right side. Now they're going to move him over. There goes my idea.
Option.
Well played.
Didn't work out. Bart Barati with a tackle for a loss.
Well, you can't run the option. The #1 rule when running the option like that is if there are 2 guys outside the in man on the line of scrimmage, you got to get out of it. You got to check out of it. And they had what they wanted going right. For some reason they moved the back Thomas over to the left side where it was to the defense's advantage to run that play, and the result was a loss.
3rd and 17. Warren back in the game. Ritter. And he threw it behind Ja'Shawn Jackson.
Ritter got to be careful. Got hit and then saw a foot come up. Kobe bursts in there or around the football. Want to get called for a personal foul as a quarterback.
What's going on here?
Oh, quite what to make of that.
Setting up a game of tug of war, maybe?
It's like they're passing some kind of something that's tied up. Not sure.
4th and 17.
Got to be some tradition.
Delay of game. Offense. That penalty will be declined. Still 4th down.
So Cincinnati's trying to push it back to get some extra yards for the punt.
They
Chuck
wanted
Martin
to.
Want that.
Yeah, always decline that because that's why they're taking it so the punter can get comfortable, get an extra 5 yards to land it inside the 10.
This would be a 52-yard field goal, but Cincinnati is not in the shape to do that with its kicking game. So up 3 scores, Luke Fickell's just going to kick it. Now hold your horses. Hold your excitement if you can before this punt from the Miami 35. It's a funny kid, James Smith, the punter for
Please
Cincinnati.
reset the game clock to 12:17. The previous play was an incomplete pass, therefore the clock should remain stopped.
Okay, great. Saw James Smith, if you go to the Cincinnati Twitter, Australian punter who's going around asking students if they remember what happened in 2005, the last time that Miami won this rivalry. Not pleased to report that the Cincinnati student body does not know Mariah Carey's "We Belong Together" very well.
Wow, what a punt.
And pleased to report, if you're a Cincinnati student, that that's down at the 1. Nice job, James Smith, and a good work on the coverage team. Ahmad Gardner, the freshman corner down there for UC.
Nice wedge with this one. Spinning it, checking it up at the 1. Excellent work.
First down, Miami from its own 1-yard line after a 34-yard kick by James Smith. Down 3 scores and 99 yards away from the end zone. The true freshman Brett Gabbert will turn and hand it off. Got to get out of the end zone, and they just barely do. Maurice Thomas forward progress to the 1.
Here's what I do.
Throw it.
Exactly. And you tell Brett Gabbert, don't hold the football. 3 quick, let it rip outside. Find the best matchup, get a speed receiver that you feel comfortable with, and let the ball go. Because doing what they're doing with 2 young tackles in the game, not a good thing. So maybe you get interference, maybe you come up with a big catch, but it's better than trying to run the football.
Gabbert will try to run the football. Gabbert takes a bit of a lick. He got maybe a yard, and it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 2. Ethan Tuckey back in the game and on the stop.
Well, now it's a roll of the dice because you know that Marcus Freeman's going to have their ears pinned back here. And they're not afraid to play man-to-man and come after the freshman quarterback, Brett Gabbert. You also can't throw a sit-down route on the outside because corners will jump it.
Only a rush of 4. Gabbert taken down. Got a couple of yards before Tuckey tackled him. And it's punt time for Miami from the shadow of its own goalposts.
This is a one-step execution here in the back. Your heels are on the back edge of the end zone. It's got to be quick. And Brett Gabbert, nobody open down the field. Pass protection breaking down. Got to be a little frustrating right about now.
Out of the end zone, Kramer, another good one. Montgomery at his own 47. Should be great field position for Cincinnati. It is 49 on the punt, but a return of 16, only a net of 33. Great field position for Cincinnati, keeping it copacetic here at Nippert.
This was the biggest game of the season.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is presented by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And in part by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Three-touchdown lead for Cincinnati. A great day offensively. Big part of that is the left tackle, Chris Ferguson, a sixth-year senior. He grew up in the Bahamas, in Nassau, moved to Orlando at age 18, but still has a whole lot of family down in the Bahamas, which has been just catastrophically hit over the last couple of weeks. The damage from Hurricane Dorian. The update that we got from the folks in Cincinnati was that Ferguson's family members were okay, but there were some houses severely damaged, destroyed, as there really have been all over the Bahamas. And we're encouraging folks to do whatever you can to help out. Chris Ferguson last week pregame wore a towel with a message on it in support of the Bahamas. You can see on the back of his helmet, right under the Star-Spangled Banner, there is the national flag of the Bahamas. Sixth-year senior, what a journey for him. 1 year of high school football, coming to Cincinnati. Can't imagine what's going through his head right now. And a lovely little tribute there to his hometown.
Tough for him to even talk about it.
Very, very emotional week for Chris Ferguson. You can help people affected by Hurricane Dorian. Your donation will support Red Cross preparation, response, recovery efforts in the Bahamas and right here in the United States. The address redcross.org/ESPN or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. See the devastation from Hurricane Dorian. I know we say this sort of thing, it's cliche, but every little bit does help. Whatever you can do to members of Chris Ferguson's family, his friends, and so many others affected in our country and in the Bahamas.
Well said.
On a third down, a run block for Thomas. Boy, Cincinnati is just wearing down Miami, Ohio this second half. He runs through Emmanuel Rugamba for 12 yards. First down, Tavion Thomas.
It's actually quite frightening when you think about what Michael Warren and the type of game he had, and now Tavion Thomas developing a nice 1-2 punch, and Thomas getting some much needed experience here in the latter part of the game. And bigger fan than Michael Warren cheering his running back mate on.
Missing a couple of running backs too. Charles McClellan tore his ACL in camp. Jared Dokes hurt his knee against UCLA. Bigger role for Thomas, and boy, is he living up to it. How many defenders is it going to take to get Tavion Thomas down right now? There's another dozen-yard carry.
If he just starts to fine-tune the little things like pass protection, catching the ball out of the backfield, just work on the little things. He is a tremendous talent at 6'2", 233 pounds. He has speed. He runs with power. Looks the part, and now, hey, give it to him again. Feed him. Keep feeding him.
156 yards on the ground this half for Cincinnati. Back to him. Feed the beast.
Nice cut.
Down to the 5.
That was an excellent cut. Rugamba was there waiting, and he gave it to him and took it away and was able to pick up a couple of yards when it actually should have been a stop at the line of scrimmage.
1-2 punch has been superb for Cincinnati. Warren and Thomas combining for 181 yards on the ground.
Not a bad day. Throw in the 3 touchdowns by Warren as well.
Back on the ground. Thomas swarmed under.
Tavion Thomas, the ball carrier for the Bearcats.
This is different competition for Miami, Ohio. Last week it was Tennessee Tech, and Tennessee Tech had -1 rushing yards in the first half. That's an FCS team. This is Cincinnati, which we expect again to be one of the top teams in the American. Maybe not 11-2. Luke Fickell said it's all about embracing reality, understanding, hey, we played above our talent level a bit last year. We got some breaks, but he wants his team to be confident, and he thinks this is a championship bunch again. It nearly was last year.
I like Miami's chances of making some noise in the MAC, and but the only thing about it is they got to get healthy. They've got to get the offensive line healthy. 2 tackles go out, to injuries where you're carted off. You don't know what's going to happen there, but in order for them to do so, they have to have a healthy offensive line. When you watch them on film, they play hard. Certainly within their league is a team that I think is going to make some noise.
They were picked second in the MAC East preseason behind Ohio. 6-2 in the MAC last year. Tied for the second best record in the league overall behind Buffalo.
You just hope next week they can get out of that game healthy against Ohio State.
Offense on the field, 4th down. Luke Fickell takes a timeout with the play clock about to expire.
Timeout, Cincinnati. They're first. This will be a 30-second timeout. Correction. This will be a full media timeout.
Luke Fickell's Bearcats. A nice bounce back after last week's shutout.
NFL Prime Time is back on Sunday nights, airing exclusively on ESPN Plus at 7:30 p.m. Eastern all season long.
Think we're going to see Michael Warren maybe on Sundays with a Power Surge theme in the background. 3 touchdowns for Cincinnati today. Potential primetime player of the year or two.
Figure out what name Chris Berman would come up with for Michael Warren. Or if he
Full start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Comes up with a nice play off the truck.
I mean, the truck's a good start.
I like the truck.
You could have Boomer doing
He had the bus, now you got the truck. I like it.
I'm just thinking of the Mike Allstott sounds. You know, when Mike Allstott had those tough runs. You can hear that from Michael Warren.
Love it. I'm glad they're back.
Me too. Sunday nights just weren't the same. 4th and goal, Ritter. Let's throw it up for grabs. Incomplete, nearly intercepted. And Miami will take over on downs.
Was deflected and incomplete. In coverage for the Redhawks, number 6, Travion
Michael Warren was a Friday player, a pretty darn good one before he was a Saturday player, maybe a Sunday player at some point. The great high school running backs in Ohio history. It's Central Catholic in Toledo. 5th all-time, beg your pardon, in the state of Ohio, over 7,000 yards. Mr. Football in the state of Ohio last year. 3rd most rushing yards in Cincinnati history. 1,329 and a school record 18 touchdowns on the ground.
I wonder how far the nickname truck goes back.
He said it's just a Fickell.
Really?
Not very far. But you figure he had to have some other nickname in high school.
Or even in Pop Warner.
You don't run for 7,000 yards without some kind of nasty name, right?
And especially with his running style. He doesn't shy away from anyone, and he'll engage defenders, but he also has some quickness, elusiveness, speed, vision. He's got it all. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. He is a fun player to watch.
He's got a team high 5 catches today, to your point, on 5 targets. Had a big 4th down one earlier in the first half when Cincinnati was scuffling. Seems like a long time ago at this point.
This is where, if you're Miami, you're just building some depth, some experience.
Monday Night Football, Week 2 in a couple of days. The Browns off an embarrassing Week 1 against the Titans, against Le'Veon Bell. No Sam Darnold, though, for the Jets. It's Trevor Siemian time. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Monday Night Countdown kicks it off at 6. This is a special game. You know why?
Yeah.
First ever Monday Night Football game. September 21, 1970. Jets and Browns matched up again as part of the NFL 100th anniversary celebration.
Just a drop there on a screen pass by Tyree Shelton. Unable to hold on to it. Been a rough second half for Miami. A lot of it is because of defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman and what he was able to do in the second half of this one. Went in, made some adjustments, and I tell you what, they made them on both sides of the football. Oh, what a move.
Ryan Montgomery.
Wow. Stop, start. Give it, take away, take it away.
2 late flags come in.
There are penalty markers on the flag.
During the return, personal foul, blindside block, receiving team, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first out. Media timeout.
It's about ready to come out of its case. The victory bells going to the red and black for the 14th straight year. Cincinnati's going to be oh so close to Miami, Ohio. With a win, it'll be 59-58 with 7 ties in favor of Miami in the battle for the victory bell. Only Wisconsin and Minnesota played more games against each other in FBS. This is the oldest non-conference rivalry in FBS. Ben Bryant is coming to the game at quarterback for Cincinnati. Ryan Montgomery, the new running back. And Montgomery in to Miami territory on his first play from scrimmage.
True freshman, and you talk about a bright future. They've got all of these backs coming back next year, provided Michael Warren returns for his senior year. But Ryan Montgomery, who's showing some flashes. Tavion Thomas, who we saw the previous drive. They are healthy at running back, to say the least.
Ben Bryant will take the snaps. Played a little bit last week. The former Wisconsin commit. Redshirt freshman had to come into the game against Ohio State when Desmond Ridder banged his left shoulder. Montgomery again. Wow. And another nice run for Ryan Montgomery, though there is a flag down.
Now, he had an excellent punt return where he stopped and started a couple of times, and then the last 2 carries were
Holding, offense, number 11, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, remains first out.
They were excellent as well, the last 2 carries by Ryan Montgomery.
Time for our Fansville College football update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. One of which you owe me from earlier.
Yeah.
Ohio State just cruising. Justin Fields is one of the best quarterbacks in football. I think we can all say that now. 51-10 over the Hoosiers. This was an amazing story in Georgia. Bulldog fans wore pink. Arkansas State's Blake Anderson and his wife Wendy passed away in August of breast cancer, and what a wonderful gesture for the fans down in Athens today. Blake rejoined the team last week. You saw Washington State and Wake Forest both with Friday night wins, the first 2 3-0 teams in college football.
We had a discussion on Sports Center this morning in terms of the transfer portal and guys, especially at quarterback.
Yep.
And that was a topic of who I thought was it benefited kind of the most. Justin Fields was one that I thought, well, he's having a great season, but they didn't change the offense of what they're doing to fit Justin Fields. And then I thought, well, Kyler Murray fits in that mold as well, but Lincoln Riley's still running the same system. I had to go with Joe Burrow down at LSU. is they changed a system because of his talents that might be a program changing moment, so to speak, in terms of what they're doing offensively and taking advantage of receivers that they've had coming through that program for a number of years. He has really lit a fire on that side of the football.
LSU's got Northwestern State tonight, looking for win number 800. Texas Tech and Arizona tonight on ESPN. That could be quite a shootout in the desert. Afterwards, Sports Center at 1:30 a.m. Eastern. Stan and Neal. What's Antonio Brown's status for tomorrow against the Dolphins? Which college football teams are on upset alert? And Tyson Fury's title on the line against Otto Wallin. Sports Center after college football on ESPN and the ESPN app. No need to run another play after that third down handoff to Montgomery.
That'll do it.
Meeting number 124 between Cincinnati and Miami is going to the Bearcats. And they just keep ringing that bell at Nippert Stadium. It's heavy, the victory bell. It's going to take a few Bearcats to pull that sucker out. We found that out yesterday. 59-58-7. Cincinnati is within one game in the battle for the victory bell. They have won their 14th in a row over Miami. The bell tolls for the Bearcats on another Saturday afternoon. 8 in a row here at Nippert and 14 straight overall. That'll do it for Nippert Stadium. For Ron Jower, our entire